Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett and Randy here with you to get your Saturday morning started, and don't know what we talk about today. I don't know if there's anything on anybody's mind, but anyway, we'd love to hear from you, 256-234-6221. To be part of the program, you can also comment away on Facebook Live. That's Sports Blitz, Sports with a Z. You can join us there and send us your questions, your comments. What a great game last night for us. I don't think you and I have been asleep very long, but we're back up here, and exciting night for the Wildcats as they pull off a big come-from-behind victory, 25-21 over Briarwood. And, man, region matchup, Briarwood, tip your hat, 14-0 at halftime, and Wildcats come back, win it. Malcolm Simmons does what Malcolm Simmons does. Gabe Benton, great night throwing the football. You know, I can go down a list. We're going to list a lot of names because there were a lot of guys that made great plays. Caden Hyde had a great interception there toward the end. You know, I can go through a list, Randy, but what a tremendous night at Briarwood. Hey, look, a great football game between two programs. I really, tip my hat to Briarwood. They made plays right up until the end. They had a chance to win the game with 14 seconds to go. And, somebody has to lose one of those kind of games. It's gut-wrenching, but it felt like a third-round playoff game.
Well, I've got to be the one to, maybe throw a little history lesson in there. But, Brett, I've been doing ball with you for 18 years now, and I've had two experiences now at Briarwood that are probably in my top 5 all time. Very first year that I went over, and I said it on air last night, but I'll say it this morning, 2005. We had a good team. It wasn't a great team in the regular season. We go over there, we're very talented, and Briarwood just blows our socks off. I mean, they beat us as bad as they wanted to, probably about 3 scores.
Right.
And we go back in the third round of the playoffs, Brett, and play a Briarwood team that was very talented as well and win 17-14. And I bring that up because last night's second half felt so much like it did that night, because that first half, if you go back and remember, we couldn't find any offense. Their defensive ends were crashing down on us that year just like they were last night. I don't know what it is about Briarwood, but they go out there and find 6'3", 6'4", 225, 230-pound defensive ends
every year.
And a lot of times we just don't match up real well with that with those players.
Who does in high school?
Not many do. Not many. And so, I go back and I remember that, and Tay Young just really taking the game over and running the football, and we played well enough on the defensive side to win that football game. And I feel just the exact same way last night of what I was watching. Down 14-0, no offense to really account for anything. I think we maybe had 40 yards passing in the first half and about 60 yards rushing. Just couldn't find anything to go positive for us. And then in the second half, I want to start with our quarterback. Gabe Benton played lights out, not only throwing the football and moving around in the pocket, but his ability to run the football with his frame when needed is so needed for this team moving down the stretch. And he did it last night, and he did it really, really well. Many times we were begging him to run the football, and he just stepped up in the pocket and made pass after pass. Throwing on the run to the left, having to, turn back and throw with that right arm. Across his body was a thing of beauty. He made 3 or 4 throws like that, and so I wanted to start right there, and I know we can bounce it around and talk about a lot of them, but Gabe Benton was a star last night, and on the defensive side of the ball, the entire team played well in the second half, only giving up 7 points, but there's a star in the making over there, and it is very obvious. Caleb Spivey is going to be as good as we've ever had come off the edge. He's only a freshman, They couldn't block him in the second half last night. He's very, very confident in his play right now, Brett, and I think it's showing up on the field.
Yeah, no doubt. I think you summed it up really well. On one of the key drives driving down, I'm going to tip my hat to David Lawson. Probably had one of his better games. He was Gabe's go-to target, found holes in their defense, found a way to, he's a physical guy. He would fight for 2 or 3 extra yards, and David Lawson had a tremendous night along with Malcolm and several of those other guys. But, I was talking to Gabe's dad after the game, and, we were all laughing back and forth because the last few weeks I have been yelling, run the football. And, his dad agreed. He said, look, there's some times that, there's grass in front of him that you take those plays. But, I've said this the whole time about Gabe. He's very unselfish. It's not about him, and sometimes you have to be selfish a little bit. But, he keeps his eyes downfield. He's so mature, for his, where he is, even as a senior in high school. He's been doing this a long time, it seems like, because he's been starting for 3 years. But he keeps plays alive, moving the pocket, running outside. And a lot of times we're up there yelling to run, but last night he had an opportunity to run for probably a 10 or 15-yard gain there in the fourth quarter and get a first down. And he kept that play alive right until the very end and made a long throw down the field to Malcolm Simmons to move the chains. I mean, he continues to do that kind of stuff. And again, when you got guys like him and, Malcolm and Chris Foster and Jai Hicks on defense, when you're in the moment, you try to have to tell yourself, hey, look, I need to stop and appreciate this because you're not going to have them forever. You just talked about Gabe rolling against his body. Most high school quarterbacks can't do that and make a strong throw back across and make
not the strong throw.
Not the strong. They can try a throw, but it's not a strong on-the-money throw, which you don't encourage your quarterbacks to do. But a guy his size and his ability can do it. So we're going to have Coach Grider on at 7:30. To talk about this game because it was such a big game. But, just proud of the team, all the overall effort, like you said, defensively, play after play in the secondary, our defensive front collectively. Spears had some really good plays up front along with Bird. I know Caleb Spivey really, like you said, just kind of took over there in the second half and caused problems for Briarwood in the backfield. But our linebacking core, Caden Hyde and Jai Hicks and those guys, had a heck of a game. Noah Long, collectively, we called all of them's names several times last night. Yes,
definitely did. And Caden picking up the interception that really sealed the deal. We thought it sealed the deal.
18 seconds, we thought it did.
Yeah, but, I definitely wanted to spotlight a couple of the plays that we saw last night from Malcolm Simmons, though. Malcolm ends up with multiple touchdowns. Probably the first one that will jump out is a roll of the pocket from Gabe Benton, and he's running a deep post pattern. He's got about 2 or 3 steps on the inside defender, and they got a too-high safety on top of him. And Gabe throws it dead on the money, right on the opposite side. Malcolm catches, bounces off a big hit.
It's a hard hit.
Once he gets off the big hit, able to take it down that right sideline for about 60 yards for the touchdown. It was a huge play. And then to close the game out, we've got a 4th and 1. Inside the 5-yard line or right at the 5-yard line, if memory serves me correct. I think we were going to call a timeout. I'm just speculating. Coach Grider can let us know. But it felt like we were going to call a timeout. We went to the line.
Yep.
And, it's loud.
It was a yard, and we were only down 2 points.
It's loud. It's 21-19, and, we go to the line, and it looks like Gabe's surprised to get the snap.
Exactly.
But he gets the snap, and he's heady enough to I think, try to run. It looked like his first thought was, I need to run to the right off tackle and try to pick this first down up. Briarwood was ready.
They were.
Briarwood had that defended, and Malcolm's the lone receiver out to the right, and Malcolm, being a 4 sports star here, does a tremendous job of getting in front of the defender. He didn't run to the backside. He didn't run some type of fade to the back corner of the end zone, which would have made it tough. He used his frame. He basketball boxed him out.
Right.
And then Gabe on the run throws one up, and Malcolm's able to go up and one-hand it and catch that football and really give us the score that we needed to take it to 25-21.
I'm just proud of how our team came back in the second half, because if you go back and watch the broadcast, and you hear us talk on that on the broadcast, we were losing the line of scrimmage. They were handling us up front. Gabe didn't have much time to throw the football. We weren't running the ball well. I don't think we had but about 40-something yards rushing in the first half. And it's not, bad on our side. It was good for them. They had a defensive front that was just really getting after it. They've been active all year. But we came back in the second half, and our coaching staff and our kids answered the call. And we made adjustments. And, I talked about roll in the pocket. We saw a lot more roll in the pocket to give Gabe some extra time. But we manned up front on both sides of the line. We had a fourth down stop. We there's so many plays in this game, but a third and a fourth down stop by our defensive line where we just said, look, we know what they're about to run. They're going to run left twice, and we're going to stuff it on 4th and 1, and they did it. So proud of our offensive line for their second half. Proud of our defensive line for what they did in the second half, like you said, only holding them to 1 touchdown because we had scored and gotten back in this thing, and then, boy, they go down in 3 plays. I mean, 3 plays, and every play they ran was misdirection stuff, like you said on the broadcast. So that's a very good football team in Briarwood. They're well coached. They get after it. They're going to have a chance to move deep in the playoffs.
Let me spotlight 2 of their players real quick. I know we're up against a break, but they've got a defensive end, number 90. I think his name is Garrett Weatherington. And hopefully I'm right with that, but he's only a sophomore.
Right.
He looks to be 6'4", 230, 6'4", 240. Is that feel good to you? He's long, got really long arms. He's a problem. He was our player of the week, one of our players of the week for the AHSAA.
Batted down several passes.
He is going to be he runs well.
Right.
He's a longer version, maybe not quite as thick as Caleb Spivey, but a longer version of Caleb Spivey at 6'4", 6'5", just off the hoof looking out there.
He can move.
And they've had some great defensive ends at Briarwood. He's special. And then Wes Coleman and I just oohed and ahed on their quarterback. Not his throwing ability. He throws it okay. But, man, that kid can flat run the football.
But isn't he a carbon copy of about 6 guys in Birmingham?
Birmingham has got they want dual threat. And I don't know what it is about the offensive schemes. That offensive scheme we saw last night looked just like Mountain Brook.
Because they got
I've called a number of Mountain Brook games over the years, and so much motion, so much eye candy, so much movement up front with your offensive line that makes it tough on you. And you have to get your sea legs under you to play that team because you just really are out of sorts at the first of the game. But it takes a quarterback to run the football at times, and he was special, man. Once he got 7 or 8 yards down the field, and it was a single man, like a safety or a linebacker that was matched up.
Several great runs.
And he ran through tackles. Very impressive quarterback that Briarwood had, especially.
And a lot of design plays for their quarterback to run. And not just Briarwood, Pelham, Homewood, Vestavia, Hewitt Trustful, Hoover. The list goes on and on. I mean, it's like you said, it's in their design. And the offensive coordinator is from Mountain Brook.
Okay.
Moved over and is coaching over at Briarwood.
They look like the imps of it.
And Coach Grider told me in the locker room, he said, this guy came over from Mountain Brook, and, he has that motion. He has a lot of the same tendencies and motion that Mountain Brook ran that he brought to Briarwood with him. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's exactly what it looked like. But we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll start running down scores again. We'll have Coach Smitty Grider around 7:30 or a little after to kind of recap from their side. So stay tuned. Just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep this in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is serving up all your favorites: shrimp and grits, po' boys, tacos, seafood platters, and so much more. Don't miss out on our famous loaded fried green tomatoes. Wharf Casual Seafood is located on Highway 280 next to Regions Bank.
Hello, I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Just getting started here on this Saturday. Again, recap that game from last night. We'll have Coach Grider on around 7:30. Randy, scoreboard show last night. Luke Robinson and Andy Graham, outstanding job as always, bringing you the scores from around the state. We'll kind of recap some of those. We won't go through all of them. We'll start in 7A. We'll start with a big one just right down the road, Phoenix City and Auburn. These are two powerhouses for the last 3 or 4 years, and both have played in multiple state championship games. And, really this game's become the game to see who kind of has supreme reign in that region. And last night, Phoenix City got all over Auburn early and ended up cruising to a win. Auburn fought back and scored some points, but 41-20, Phoenix City knocks off Auburn. And right now, and I'll kick to you, Phoenix City and Mary Montgomery in the south side on the 7A side appear to be on a collision course. Now, I don't know when they would actually match up in the playoffs, probably the third round right before the championship, but Mary Montgomery has destroyed almost everybody in Mobile, which is unheard of. And you look at Phoenix City, I mean, they've had a game or two here. I know Opelika played them semi-close again, but Phoenix City, when they have it going, and they have the best wide receiver in the country in Cam Coleman, this team's loaded. Patrick Nix and Jamie Dubose and everybody that's been over there have just reloaded year after year after year the last 5 or 6 years. And, man, it's going to take a valiant effort to beat them.
Well, it's an overall athletic program. You're just getting one athlete after another. I'm sure their quarterback, who's dynamic, man. He's got over 1,900 yards passing going into last night.
Right.
Big numbers, looks like a baseball guy. I'm just speculating. I really don't know what all he plays, but they are dynamic when it talks about the baseball diamond. They're outstanding in basketball, making it to the championship game, and right here in football. And he's got athletes on top of athletes. And I told y'all on the ride over, I said, I don't think this one will be close. Because Auburn has been able to win some close football games. Their record actually looks better than they played this year. You know, they win a one-point game against Opelika, I believe, and then they had a really close game against Enterprise that they lost. They had a really close game against Dothan that they won. You look down, they're 6-2, but they easily could be 4-4 on the season right now, as much as they are 6-2.
I think Keith Etcher's done a really good job of coaching this team.
Agreed.
He's had, you know, you and I've talked about Auburn. The last few years, they've had some playmakers to get them over the hump. Not necessarily the case this year, just good coaching and good play and execution on the field, which you get from coaches like him, that has made up for some of the talent they've had in the past. So they've gritted out, like you said, several
Feels
games.
a little bit like Nick Saban and what we're seeing for Alabama, and we'll talk about that in the second hour. But, you know, I knew that when I saw the score for Phoenix City against Enterprise, I watched Enterprise beat Opelika on Thursday night, 28-14, which, by the way, Opelika's got a great NFHS broadcast. I like Van and that crew, but, Brett, they've got that drone flying over, and, I mean, it's outstanding. It's a good watch, and isn't that fun that you can sit there on a Thursday night? Because you and I don't have the opportunity on Friday.
Right.
We got the opportunity on Thursday to pick my favorite game, and it could be one that's not on WOTM. I usually watch the one that's on WOTM.
And they had a good one, too.
And but yes, 28-14, and I knew that Phoenix City had taken it to Enterprise. I was thinking, there's just no way Auburn can stay in this one, and they did.
Speaking of that Enterprise team, 28-14 over Opelika. Opelika eliminated again from
no, they got
playoffs.
a chance. No, it's them and Dothan next week.
I thought, are they playing head-to-head this
Yeah, they
week?
play this upcoming week. And
So I guess the winner will actually get the 4 seed.
So it's a region, though. And that Dothan team's up to the standard that Opelika normally throws out. They're a very solid team, so I wouldn't know who to pick. I just know that Opelika's feels like some of these teams like Vestavia over in that region. You look down and their record's not quite Hewitt-Trussville. You know, I think Opelika's got a pretty good football team, but in that 7A region they're in, it looks bad.
They have a good football team. I mean, but when you play the competition they're playing week in and week out, I mean, let's be honest. They would be in first in the Montgomery region. They probably would be in first in the North region, in the Huntsville area. You know, maybe save Austin or whatever, but in the Birmingham region or the East Alabama region, they're at best fourth. I mean, let's just be honest about it. So not all regions are created equal. There's probably 5 teams in that East Alabama regional, maybe 6, that could earn or deserve a playoff spot. Only going to take 4. So that's the way that one goes. Thompson over Tuscaloosa County, 39-0. I do want to mention this one. Percy Julian comes from behind to knock off Prattville 39-35. Going through some tough times in Prattville right now.
All of us go through it, but it's very odd to watch Prattville go through it. It's too many strong years for us to get it cleared out of our mind how good that Prattville program was up to 10 years ago, and it's not that it's fallen completely off the map, but it's had a 1-9 season. It's losing some games that you never would have dreamed that they would lose only a decade ago.
Yeah, real quick before we go to break, Mary Montgomery 34, Daphne 7. They've separated themselves down there in Mobile.
Love seeing some of these new names, Mary Montgomery, Baker. Those two teams are not two that you and I have talked about. It used to be always McGill-Tulane. I don't know where they've gone. They got thumped again last night by Theodore, I think 49-7, if I remember right.
42-7.
Yeah, it got out of hand, and that was never the case. So I guess Mary Montgomery and Baker are taking up the slack that McGill's left.
And like you said, we had never really called Baker's name much, never talked about Mary Montgomery. So it is always fun to see teams kind of rise up.
Davidson back up and really good again. Theodore's been good the last 3 or 4 years. So maybe there's a comeuppance coming from that Mobile region.
Well, up against the break, stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation.
We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Get a ghoulishly good deal all month long at Opelika Ford. Take advantage of spectacular discounts on their entire inventory of brand new Fords. Plus, rates as low as 1.9% APR for 60 months. Shop Opelika Ford, Chrysler.com. Get a ghoulishly good deal all month long at Opelika Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram. Get their biggest discounts of the year on new Rams, plus 2.9% APR financing for 72 months. Don't miss Ram Power Days at Opelika Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown here, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I want to go to the phone lines and welcome in head coach Smitty Grider of the Benjamin Russell Wildcats. Coach, have you been to sleep?
Sparingly. My mind won't shut off. I keep replaying that game last night.
Yeah, it's hard not to replay that one. We'll watch that one over and over again, but what an exciting football game between two really good programs. I'll just kick it to you right out of the gate. You know, we got down 14-0, but, man, our effort in the second half and the adjustments you guys made and what our team did to come from behind in a tough place to get a win was amazing.
Yeah, you know, those games are fun when they're over with. They're not so much fun while they're going on. But, you know, our kids, man, they're just – I'm so proud of where our program is right now that we were able to overcome that. You know, we didn't play awful in the first half. We couldn't finish drives. The defense played well at times, but, you know, we got off to a bad start, and they scored real quick, and we settled in. And I don't know, it seemed like every call was going against us. We couldn't catch a break. And you know, I know that in the past our team has come apart in those situations. And, you know, we just challenged them at halftime. Coach Krager, he did a great job adjusting in the second half. And he said when he went in and talked to the team, you know, there was no doubt in their eyes. They were all locked in. They were focused on what the adjustments they had to tell them, and you know, we haven't been able to say that for a while, and just them being able to weather the storms that we weathered last night, and find a way to win that game, and is just it just shows the progress we're making, and hope, you know, those kind of wins can really change a team, can change a program in a season, and then I'm hoping that's what happens for us.
You know, Coach, I said that on the broadcast last night to Randy. I think maybe at halftime, I said, you know, on the road in a playoff type environment, you know, programs to take that next step. I know you and I have talked about it, and you establishing getting Benjamin Russell back to where we're used to Benjamin Russell being year in and year out, going deep in the playoffs. You got to find a way when you're down on the road to come from behind and get wins like that. And at the time, down 14-0, we were sitting there talking about it, and I said that on the broadcast, and you just kind of summed it up. That was a huge moment, I think, for this team and this program, coming from behind with a team that's, you know, got a huge history. You're on the road in a big region game that feels like a third-round playoff game. I think you said it to me in the locker room. You're hoping we're hitting our stride at the right time this year, and that game's going to go a long way, in my opinion.
I certainly hope so. You know, those are the kind of things you want to, you know, that you can hang your hat on as a program, to know that, man, you know, we're down 14 points. We've had two touchdowns called back. You know, we got an interception that got called back for a penalty, and you know, instead of going crazy, losing your composure and all that, we were able to stay the course and win the game. So that's something you can fall back on later when you're in that situation again. And hopefully we'll be able to draw on that. I hope we're not in that situation again this year, but you know, it was just it was a crazy night. I can't be more prouder of a group of young men than I was that bunch last night.
Coach, I want to spotlight a few of your players, and I want to start on the defensive side, because I felt like we played well offensively in the second half, but the defense only giving up 7 points in the second half was the way we were allowed to get that offense back going. So talk about Caleb Spivey for those that haven't had an opportunity to watch him. I just feel like he's getting better week in and week out.
Yeah, he's going to be something special. You know, you just don't see freshmen that can step into 6A football and have success like he's doing. And you know, he's such a humble kid. I know y'all know him. He never really opens his mouth. He just goes about his business. And you know, I saw him when he was in the middle school and knew he was a big kid and athletic and all those things. I never dreamed he'd come in and start for us, and not only start, but really be our bell cow up front. And you know, he's a menace in the pass rush. He's really tough on quarterbacks, and I don't know if people notice it, but he chases the ball down the field. I mean, he makes a lot of plays 20 or 30 yards down the field when a big play happens. And if he'll continue to progress, he'll be one of the top guys to ever come through Benjamin Russell.
Coach, talk about your two major offensive performers last night. I wanted to start with one maybe that wasn't one of those two, but David Lawson last night. I thought he played his best football game. He's one that you can count on to block outside. I know you do a lot of things where you get him up front, and he's got a good frame, and he's a willing blocker. But last night, Malcolm gets a little gimpy after that long touchdown reception that he had, and y'all went 4 or 5 consecutive pass plays down the field to David Lawson, and he played extremely well last night.
Yeah, I'm happy for David. He's a hard-working kid. He's got great football IQ, and you know, people forget about him over there, and because so much attention's on Malcolm and Chris and Cedarian, and you know, David would be the number one receiver on a lot of teams, and he never complains about not getting the ball. He practices well. He's a good leader for us, and it's just very gratifying to see him have success, and you know that when we need a 8-10 quick yards that we can throw it out there to David, and he's going to get it for us. He's going to catch the ball, and like you said, he's a great blocker on the perimeter. Just a great kid. I don't know how well y'all know David, how much you've been around him, but just a guy that's fun to be around and a kid you like having on your team, not because he's a great player, and he is a great player, but because he's such a good person.
Your two major players played one of their best halves of football since they've been at Benjamin Russell, and Gabe and Malcolm Simmons. I wanted you to talk about both of them real quick, but I wanted you to give me a quick answer on that 4th and 1 where we roll the pocket. Were you thinking about a timeout there, Coach? It looked like Gabe was a little surprised to get the snap when he did, and he just improvised and made a play, and boy, did he and Malcolm make a play right there. Just talk about both of them and maybe that play for a second.
Yeah, we were going to run it down and call timeout and kick the field goal, and we called our freeze play, and we have a code word for it, and it's related to a college football team. And so we have several ways we can do it, and one of the ways is we mention a player on that team instead of just naming the team every time so the other team doesn't know what we're doing. Well, evidently, Chandler Patterson doesn't know who Tim Tebow played college football for, and he snapped the ball, and he wasn't supposed to. So, you know, I don't know if y'all could see, but Gabe had 2 or 3 of them hanging on him.
Oh, they did. Oh, he did.
He threw the ball. And, you know, when it happened, I'm just like, kind of like the punt snap. You know, you're like, oh, my God, we just blew it. And, you know, when you have 2 guys like that just, you know, they played backyard football. And Malcolm went up and made an unbelievable one-handed catch. Gabe did an unbelievable job to even get him the ball. And made a big play, you know. It was, you know, it's just one of those plays in a game where your athletes just make plays and, you know, it just bail you out of a bad situation, and that's what happened. And those 2 guys did it time and again last night. And, you know, I said after the game to several people, I'm glad number 0's on our team. You know, he got the pick in the end zone to seal the deal, and he's just unbelievable, man. You don't get to coach many of those in your career. He's the best broken field runner I think I've ever been around, ever seen. You get Malcolm in the open field and people spread around, and he's dangerous. You just can't tackle him. And you know, he's gonna make a highlight reel play every week, at least one, if not multiple. And Gabe is, you know, he's Gabe. He's going to get the ball to Malcolm and make plays for us. I think he's coming into his stride right now. Last few weeks, he's played extremely well. Had over 300 yards last night and 3 touchdowns. And, you know, just, you know, there's not enough accolades you can say about those 2 and what they're doing right now.
Coach, a couple more things before we let you go. I can't remember in 23 years, maybe outside the 5 overtime game that we had right when I started broadcasting, a game that from the last minute and a half of a third quarter all the way to the end of the game, there were so many plays that determined what was going to happen at the end of the game. Again, running the clock down to 18 seconds to line up the punt, then you hand them the football right back inside the red zone. But it's such a key that they didn't have any timeout, so they felt like they had to throw the football, and again, they threw it to the wrong side of the field where Malcolm Simmons was crazy. So great win, Coach. Congratulations on that one. I know y'all will flip the page tomorrow and move to the team that's sitting atop our region in Helena, a team that we beat 47-14 last year, but when you go the year before, they kind of did that to us. So it's been 2 lopsided wins, 1 for each side. They come to us with all the marbles on the table. They're undefeated in the region, but we're still in position. If we can win that game, we'll have a chance to win the region, Coach, and it's going to be a huge game at home next Friday.
Yeah, it'll be the biggest game at our home field that we've played since I've been here, and I hope we have a huge crowd. Helena's undefeated. They're ranked, all those things. And, you know, they know the situation as well. If we can win that game and then beat Valley depending on what they do with Vestavia, we could win the tiebreakers and still win the region. So it's in all purposes, it's a region championship game. So, it's going to be a big one. We play in different regions have different characteristics. Ours is a coaching region. We just played 3 of the best coached teams in the state in 6A football in the state of Alabama. The only other one coached like them is going to be Mountain Brook. And we got another one coming in. It's going to be more of the same. They're a physical team. They got a good running back. They're going to try to run the ball at us. And so we got to be ready to play. And I'm looking forward to this week and seeing how our kids respond to a win like we had Friday night. And we need everybody to come out and pack the Sportsplex and bring that energy, because this is a big one. And if we can get this win, it could really set us up for a big run in the playoffs.
Well, Coach, go enjoy your weekend. Congratulations to you, your staff, and the team on a big win to stay alive with a chance to win that region championship that's coming up Friday. And we'll catch up with you this week, Coach. Appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Thanks so much, Coach. That's Coach Smitty Grider, head coach at Benjamin Russell High School. And, the emotions, like he said, for any of us, but especially the coaches and the players, in the moment, those games aren't a lot of fun. But, boy, when it's over and you're on the right side of it, man, you can't go back and watch it enough, man. And, it's just you sit on the edge of your seat, even though it's a replay, going, gosh, man, is this thing going to go the wrong way this time? And but just a great ending. I mean, again, the emotion back and forth in the last 5 minutes of that game for Briarwood and Benjamin Russell, of being able to fight back, score, then Briarwood having a chance and throwing a pick, and then we line up for a punt, and they executed their timeouts perfectly to make us punt, to force that situation. We have a bad snap. Like he said, it's a learning, it's a learning situation for our team. But, your defense is down there with their backs against the wall, and they're such a dynamic offense, the way they run and use, trickeration. For us to make a play to seal it, man, just unbelievable.
Well, and also next week, I wanted to, before we go off, and we'll come back and we'll talk about some other, but week 9 in the state of Alabama is championship week. There's a lot of regions that are determined in week 9. And, yes, week 10, because you've got some variables that come in when you tie, and it could be the same for us. But it's not only Benjamin Russell. It's not only Helena. But throughout the state, next week's as fun a week as you'll have leading into the last part of the playoff run. And I'm just proud we've got a chance to win one. We haven't won a region or area championship here in 10 years.
13.
And so – that's something you can hang your hat on. That's something that, I look back, and the 3 years I was on the varsity team, we won 2 area championships. We didn't win a state championship. We won those 2 championships.
And those numbers are on that wall.
Those numbers stay on that wall, and it's always something. I remember those games and remember how I played, or some of my friends played in those games. And so that's a championship opportunity, and I hope we take advantage of it next week.
No doubt about it. A couple comments real quick. Patrick said Cam Coleman for Phoenix City last night. You ready for this stat line?
Mm-hmm.
9 catches, 287 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Against Auburn. And Auburn has always – I know Coach Etheridge has got a great offensive philosophy and is great.
Right.
What do you think of Auburn when you think of Auburn high school football? And I'll tell you what I think.
Very disciplined.
Defense.
Defense. Very disciplined, hard-nosed. They remind me of the Hoover teams of the early 2000s and mid-2000s.
Where they may win a game 17-14 against you.
Yeah, they just going to hang their hat on defense.
You go put up stats like that against Auburn.
Cam Coleman's ridiculous.
Because I know this is not Auburn's better team, but I know they're coached exceptionally well, and it's kind of in their culture over there to play great defense. And
I'm going to go out on a limb. Cam Coleman's not going to end up at A&M. I don't know where he ends up, but I think that program's dying on the vine with Jimbo Fisher, and they got a mess. Jimbo's lost 8 consecutive road games in the SEC. I don't think it's going to get better. Cam Coleman's got some big decisions to make. I know Florida State and Auburn are back on him heavy. I know Colorado is heavy on Cam Coleman now. I know USC is heavy on Cam Coleman. Probably everybody that's a top program. But I know there's 2 or 3 teams that are really in the mix for him right now, and I'd just be surprised if he ends up sticking with Texas A&M. Up against another break. We come back, we'll run down scores from the rest of the state and then get you into some college football in hour number 2. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey, honey, it's Mom. Just wanted to call and check in, see how everything's going. You'll probably say not to worry. Everything is great. But we miss you. I'll call you back later.
No. Everything's great. I love it here.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We are in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial buildings. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Let's remind everybody this weekend, right now, JR Sports Bar and Grill, 25th anniversary. We've been talking about this for several months. 25% off everything on the menu today on Saturday. A lot of great college football on tap. Make sure you go to JR's and celebrate. They big day, and then tomorrow is an invitation event that they'll have tomorrow afternoon. I'm looking forward to being there. Just so many special moments over the last 25 years for JR's. They'll honor Ann Berry. It will be her birthday, she passed away last year, Randy, and just somebody that meant a lot to a lot of people here. And so Chris and Audra and The whole staff over there at JR Sports Bar and Grill are going to be celebrating today and tomorrow, so make sure you go by to JR Sports Bar and Grill. They mean the world to us here.
Wouldn't be here doing it without them, and continue and always will thank them, and make sure to go out there and be a part of that this weekend. A couple of scores in 6A, and I'm going to get your thoughts on these. I'm going to take the turn of calling out some scores and seeing your thoughts. First off, Homewood beats Pelham last night 31-21. This is a Homewood team that's now won 5 in a row.
This is like Coach Grider said, a very well-coached region. You better bring your lunch pail every week. Now, again, if you look top to bottom, it may not woo you with teams like Saraland and Spanish Fort and some of those teams, or a Clay Chalkville and in the past like a Pinson Valley or whatever, and Oxford. But top to bottom, this is a well-coached region, and you better come prepared. And again, a 10-point win for Homewood last night. They have a huge matchup with Briarwood coming up at Briarwood. That's a rival game. That'll be for jockeying position still in the region. So much will be on the line in that game, Randy, and so much will be on the line with our game with Helena. Those 4 teams have clinched a playoff spot. Now, where all of that lies will be the result of those games. So we don't know, but Homewood is on a roll. They're playing their best football, and they find ways to win. One more in 6A to get your thoughts on. Clay Chalkville, 28-14 over Oxford. Great win for Clay Chalkville, but tells me Oxford's really close to being back in the mix too. Yeah, I mean, this is a team that it's no secret what Drew Gilmer does with that offense. They put Jalen Mbakwe at quarterback, and they let him go out there and make plays. And, most teams can't make enough plays to counter what he's able to do. He's already got a big win under their belt against Thompson, which says enough in itself. Went to Thompson High School and won that game on ESPN. So, but you're right, Oxford, with that facility unveiling that we saw this past week from our good friend Bo Starkey and Average Joe's, that facilities tour, they're investing in that program. Oxford's always had good football. They are close to getting back. Central Clay County is starting to look like Clay County during the Danny Horn era. If you do not match them up physically, they beat your brains in. Week in and week out, they've got teams whooped by halftime. They had Beauregard whooped by halftime last night, 35-7, end up winning the football game 49-7. They're head, shoulders, and then another head above everybody in that region. And, again, it's not a cut on anybody in that region, and it's not sliding what Central Clay's doing because they're playing dominant football. But that region, when we looked down after our game and we saw some of the results coming in for the rest of that's usually a strong region. I mean, you look at Sylacauga and you look at Beauregard and 5A football, those are usually 2 really good programs. You got to really fight to win that region, but this year, not so much. I mean, Clay Central has destroyed everybody they've played. That game last night between Sylacauga and Tallahassee was for the first region win for either team. And Sylacauga snapped a 20-game losing streak last night against Tallahassee. I saw some highlights of that one at the very end, and, heck, their fans ran on the field. And, when you finally break through, a couple of weeks ago I had a chance to break through against Beauregard, Randy, and they didn't do it. Man, when you're losing like that and you're close in a couple of games and it doesn't go your way, man, just the relief off their program and their kids to finally get over the hump. They're playing better. They're competitive right now. Right. They weren't competitive at all last year. They weren't competitive the first part of this year, but they're starting to be competitive in games. And so congratulations to Sylacauga, 38-28 winners. A big, big game against Leeds and Moody. Man. That one's a great game. Every year it was some of the same. I'd kind of spotlighted it on the AHSAA radio network, which go out there and find us on social media. Brett and I work really hard to throw content out there on a daily basis, and I did a little game capsule for that one, and Leeds did much like they did last year, able to beat Moody 24-21. Just 2 really good programs, and of late Moody. Leeds has had a tremendous history especially since you and I started. Under Keith Etheridge. Keith Etheridge, then he went to Oxford, then he's over at Auburn. He's just a winner. But you look at Moody, and when you and I started calling football games, Moody was a team that you played for homecoming. No offense. But that was a team you said, okay, we're going to play them for homecoming. Or if you had to travel, you just went ahead and marked up a win. I mean, I remember us beating them 50-something to 7 or, not putting much effort in. That's not the case anymore. Got a great coach over there, got great talent, got a great community that has pride in that football program, and that was a great win for Leeds, man, because Moody's ranked in the top 10, and, they got some great football players. I know they lost Amon Lane to a knee injury a few weeks ago, who was their bell cow, but fighting through it, just what high school football is all about. Big region win there for Leeds.
One more in Class 5A Valley. Big winners last night over Elmore County. I believe it was a last-second pass into the end zone. If I was right, if I heard that right on the way home, Valley defeats Elmore County 41-40.
Yeah, made a play at the very end of the game into the end zone, a 40-yard pass into the end zone for a touchdown to knock off a game Elmore County team led by Kyle Caldwell. And what he's done with that program in 2 years is short of amazing, and getting them to the point right there. Just got a text from our good friend Steve Wheeler, said Valley trailed by 2 touchdowns at half to that Elmore County team.
Well, you mentioned that during our broadcast. That second quarter was all Elmore County.
Came from behind.
We saw Valley up, and then you look down, and Kyle and his crew had put some offense together, and so good football game, though. And I figured that one, those two teams seemed to match up well for me.
And Valley and Steve can jump in and help me with some of their players. We'll see them in a couple weeks, by the way. Very good quarterback over there. This is a basketball team last year, Randy.
Went undefeated.
That went undefeated. I mean, I don't care what class you're playing in. For you to go through a basketball season and not lose a game. And they got down in the championship game, if you'll remember,
they did,
by 4 or 5 points. They hadn't been trailing hardly anybody and had the resolve to come back and win that game. So Valley's got some great athletes. Cam Dooley, yes, Steve said, at quarterback.
6'4", 6'5", outstanding player, played out of his mind in that championship game, if you remember, really carried that Valley team to a championship. Moving down to Class 4A, buddy, I know we're up against a break here shortly, but it is these Montgomery area private schools. All of them, just outstanding programs now, Brett. And 10 years ago, every year it'd be somebody.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like every year it was Montgomery Academy, Montgomery Catholic, Trinity. St. James.
Yeah.
All of them are super programs right now, and just things over in that area have changed so much over the years.
They have. 4A's got some good ones, but 3A's eaten up with great private school football. And the AHSAA just added 4 more teams to the AHSAA this past week that they'll join next year.
4 of the best.
And, Lee Scott, Glenwood, Autauga Academy. Who's the 4th one?
Pickens?
Maybe. Maybe it's Pickens Academy. And again, it's an issue for AHSAA because they've lost several good teams the last few years, and they're going to have to make a decision what they're going to do. I mean, moving forward, I don't know if they gain anybody back or what, but you're right. You look down in the Montgomery area right now, and you named all of them. I won't go back and rename them. I mean, pick your poison.
You don't know which one.
Pick your poison.
Really, I mean, all of them are potential state championship winners every year.
They are.
And, you've seen a drop-off of some of the major.
We just saw Briarwood last night. That's all of them.
Yeah.
Everything you saw last night from Briarwood Christian is exactly the 4 or 5 teams you just described. I mean, Montgomery Catholic's got the longest regular season winning streak in the state right now with no titles. Trinity won the state championship. Or no, not Trinity, but St. James won the state championship last year in 3A. They're going to have a chance to do it again.
Montgomery Catholic last night, 63-0 winners over Dale County. Montgomery Academy, 53-20 over Slocum. Every week you look down through there, and they've pulled out a win that looks like it's 40 to 50 points, and then they get in the playoffs and they end up playing one another, and that's really how it all plays out.
Our good friend Butch Jacobs, we've been talking to him, and his son is at corner, and we don't ever talk about corner.
They're 8-0.
64-7 last night over Curry.
8-0 now, and the best start maybe ever. I'd have to look back, but I know that there were some stats coming out through the AHSAA last week, and great senior class. They're very, very good. I think they made it to the regional final in basketball last year. Our good friend Butch is his son.
Right.
Is a really good basketball player on that program. And but yeah, they're just solid up and down. I think they're great in baseball. They've got a number of big-time commits. Their quarterback's a UAB baseball commit. He's a big old bull of a quarterback that rushes for a lot of yards and throws. So we'll continue to follow them.
Yeah, we'll take a break. So at the top of the hour, we come back. We will hit a couple local scores here for some of our teams. Dadeville, big win last night. Horseshoe Bend, big win. We'll wrap up high school and then dive into college the second hour. Stay tuned. Hour number 2 coming up right after this.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month. At AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com. You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry? The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider. Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Lewis Pest Control is now serving Alexander City and the entire Lake Martin area. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. Whether it's residential, commercial, or industrial, Lewis has environmentally safe products for all your pest control needs. Lewis Pest Control.
Let Riverbank & Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank & Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank & Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. We'll finish up some scores, Randy.
Fife, big win in Class 2A against Pisgah. This was a 7-0 Pisgah team that had outscored their opponents majorly, and Fife beats them 56-42. That would have been, if you like offensive football, that would have been a fun one to watch last night. You made mention Horseshoe Bend. Good win for Horseshoe Bend. I think it's their third win of the year against Barber County, 42-14. Is that right?
That's correct.
So congratulations to the Generals. And
Real Town 40-14 over a good Laverne team. Sets up Highland home next week.
Going to be a great game. I think that was at Reeltown, isn't it?
It is.
Going to be a big one. BB Comer taking down Coosa last night, 59-7.
Wow.
That's a BB Comer team that's still ranked number 1 in Class 2A.
Who's going to knock them off?
2A is a fun class this year.
Loaded.
Yes.
A lot of great teams there. You just talked about that Highland home team. They blew out Lafayette last night. Going back to 3A, Dayville over Childersburg, 46-12. Looks like they're going to finish with just a couple of losses on the season. They had an odd year. I know the Reeltown game got canceled. They had an off week. I think they had 2 more off weeks. So only
8 games.
7 or 8 games on the schedule.
8.
So, but Roger McDonald keeps doing what he does down there at Dayville. They just keep winning football games.
Well, they've got a physical brand of football that they're playing. They're not a lot of passing, but they're a running team, and that's normally the type of athlete that you'll see over in Dayville is those type of good running back types, and Reeltown's got the same. And so year in and year out, I think as long as he's there, they're going to put a good quality product out on the field.
Here are 3 really good programs, or 4 really good programs in 1A. Coosa Christian, 51-0 over Appalachian. I know everybody talked about them scoring 94 points last week, but that team is really good. Sweetwater's back, Randy, 48-6 over Marengo. Spring Garden, 49-7 over Donahoe, and locally, Wadley, 42-8 over Winterboro. Unfortunately, if things have been told to me correctly, Coosa Christian's probably going to finish 4th due to forfeits. Probably going to have to travel to Wadley in the first round, man. That's like a 4th-round playoff game, not a first-round playoff game. So that's going to wrap up scores for us around the state. If you got some comments, questions, send them our way on Sports Blitz Live, Facebook page. When we come back, we'll dive into college football. It is game day here around the state. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
It's truck and SUV season at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. If you've been waiting to buy, the time is now to save big. Heavy discounts on Chevrolet and GMC 4x4s, crew cabs, loaded and lifted, gas or diesel, half tons to 1 tons. Loads of new and used models. Over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith. Don't wait. Call now. Get the best deal on your new truck or SUV at Glenn Smith in Opelika and get ready to smile.
The Alabama Slammer. It's a popular drink at parties, but drink too many and you'll wind up in this Alabama Slammer. And if you drink and drive, get ready for a real Alabama Slammer. If you're involved in a crash where a driver's been drinking, you're 4 times more likely to die.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Happy fall, y'all! It's Pumpkin Palooza time here at Gorey's Furniture. Make a purchase, pick a pumpkin, win a prize.
Every pumpkin has a number, and every number is a winner.
Discounts include free delivery, 10, 20, and up to 40% off, and that's only at Gorey's Furniture.
Happy Halloween from Gorey's Furniture.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. You got to look up. You don't know when you're going to pop up on TV. Glad that you've joined us out there, everyone. And, again, exciting recap for the high school side. A lot of great games throughout the state. And as you said, Randy, next week is championship week for a lot of regions. We just named off in multiple classifications several games that are really going to determine who wins the region, who doesn't.
Always a great week. It's as much fun as we'll have. I always like going into the second round, Brett, because I think the second round of the playoffs is when things get really amped up, and you do see some upsets that happen in the first round of the playoffs every year, but by that second round. But next week's as fun a week as we'll have because there's championship opportunities out there.
I'll get some more comments. Adam said, I'm still pumped about last night when we needed points. Our offense got it. We needed a stop. Our defense got it. We needed a turnover. We got it. He said they never gave up, didn't appear to get down. I'm hoping we can continue to keep building and improving, knowing full well that your brothers next to you aren't going to let you down, aren't going to give up. I mean, pretty good description there. That kind of summed up the game. Mario sends out a little accolade to both of us on calling the game last night. We just passed the hopefully a decent call so everybody can hear if they're listening to us on the radio or watching on NFHS, and we appreciate that. Those are the fun ones to call, man. You don't know when you're going to get one like that. That's showing up to the ballpark. First off, you want to win the game, but you and I also cheer to have a good game to call. And me, you, and Wes enjoy calling Benjamin Russell and being homers.
Well, we're homers. I'd rather call a homer game than I would any game that we do for the state. It's not I love doing it for the state, and I count my blessings every day that we've gotten this opportunity over the years from the AHSAA. But I like going out there and being a homer, and we can't make up what goes on in the game. You know, sometimes things just pop in your lap, and you hope that you're ready for it when they do. And last night was just one play after another. It made it pretty easy when you got the mic on to call that one.
Yeah, no doubt. It's the ones that you live for, no doubt. If you got some more comments, anything you want to add, you can call us 256-234-6221. We'll continue to take your comments over on the Facebook side. Scott said Malcolm was fantastic. But the Wildcat defense deserves a lot of praise. We did talk about that in the first hour and how well that defense played. Let's slide over and talk some college football. Big one in Tuscaloosa coming up today with Alabama and Tennessee. Obviously, last year, Tennessee getting off the snide against Alabama. It was a crazy ending to that game. Tennessee kicks the field goal, and they win. Josh Heupel is trying to get that lore back at Tennessee, and they're off to a good start again with just one loss. Now, they can't solve the riddle of going to the swamp and winning. They go to Florida and get beat, but that's their lone loss. Alabama's got a loss to Texas. But, Randy, it's as big. The third week of – the third Saturday of October actually means something again a little bit after how much it was dominated for about 15, 18 years by Alabama. But Tennessee's going to bring a good football team in there with a very good defensive front. This is another defensive front that does a really good job of getting after the quarterback. And, again, we know Alabama struggles on offense. They don't execute like we're used to seeing them execute. Jalen Milroe will make a home run play, but they also come back and and make a sketchy play. So I know we'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll talk about it. But this is a big one on Saturday.
Well, Tennessee's quarterback and Milroe are a lot alike. They both can have, live arms that can make big plays down the field. And I think both fan bases would really enjoy seeing both guys maybe run the football a little more than they even do, but they play unselfish football. And this game is an old school smash mouth football game where the best defense is probably going to win. And Alabama's defense is outstanding.
It is.
It's what's winning football games for them. And I think Tennessee's is really good, too.
Oh, they are.
And so it's not what you've seen in the past. We'll have a segment here coming up where we run down 1,000-yard receivers. Andy Graham did a great job of looking down, because that's always something that we've talked about at Auburn is our lack of picking up 1,000-yard receivers, and it's eye-opening. The discrepancy between Auburn's receiving core and what you see from some of these other top programs. But today, it's not the offenses you're pointing to in those two games. It's back to the defenses, and that's where we grew up in the 80s expecting that football game to be.
Yeah, I think that's going to dictate who wins, no doubt about it. Up against another break, stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus. Making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Sometimes the word tradition is thrown out there too lightly. But when JR's Sports Bar and Grill is celebrating 25 years of Lake Martin's favorite place for wings, chicken fingers, good drink, and good hometown folks, well, you know it's a true celebration. All of October, come celebrate with us for 25 awesome years. Chris and Audra are so thankful for each and every customer that's become part of JR's family. Come all month long, see our remodeling on the inside, and stay tuned for our October celebration event coming soon. JR's, a true 25-year tradition for the Lake Martin area.
If you're looking for something to do in the Lake Martin area, you have to go to Liquor by the Lake. Liquor by the Lake is not only the best place to pick up your hard-to-find liquors and craft beers, there's a bar. An awesome bar serving up specialty cocktails and martinis. And the best bushwhacker and creamsicle drinks at Lake Martin. Make plans to come out for happy hour Fridays from 7 to 9 with half-price beer and cocktails. And there's live entertainment on Thursdays. You can even watch the Alabama and Auburn games and Sunday and Monday night football. Liquor by the Lake, located on Highway 49 in the Big Fish Complex near Stillwaters. Open at 1 every day but closed on Wednesday. Come see us.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
It's truck and SUV season at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. If you've been waiting to buy, the time is now to save big. Heavy discounts on Chevrolet and GMC 4x4s, crew cabs, loaded and lifted, gas or diesel, half tons to 1 tons. Loads of new and used models. Over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith. Don't wait. Call now. Get the best deal on your new truck or SUV at Glenn Smith in Opelika and get ready to smile.
Since you and I are talking about this already, we'll just dive on into it. We talked about it yesterday on the Auburn Blitz, and it's been a topic on and off for probably about 2 years now when we discuss Auburn, about 1,000-yard receivers. Hugh Freeze, in a preseason interview before the season started, said, hey, we hadn't had a 1,000-yard receiver around these parts in a long time, and the benchmark is 1,000 yards for most receivers. But now in this modern age of football, it's not uncommon to see guys go for 12, 13, 1,400 yards if you got a dynamic receiver on your team. And, the struggles. And we knew that, and we've said this a long time, the last 1,000-yard receiver we had at Auburn was in 1999 with Ronnie Daniels. And, it's crazy. You think about some of the guys that Auburn's had and the amount of years you would have thought a Ben Obamanu or a Devin Aroma should do, or a Darvin Adams or somebody like that would have had 1,000 yards in a season. But we got 5 guys or 4 guys that had 900 plus. And but Randy, the crazy thing is when you look at all of these programs in the SEC, and we have the stats on the teams that entered the SEC too, Missouri and Texas A&M. The 2 teams that stand out, actually 3 teams to me: LSU, Tennessee, and Alabama, and of course Florida in the 90s with what Steve Spurrier did. And that's really where you start looking at 1,000-yard receivers. It was in the early 90s when Steve Spurrier, with the fun and gun offense, really changed the dynamic of college football. And you had Rydell Anthony and Jarquez Green and those kind of guys just year in and year out that he rolled out there, and the quarterbacks that threw the football changed how football was played. How when you and I grew up watching the 80s, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, he said, no, we're going to spread it out, go shotgun. And Shane Matthews and Danny Werfel and all those guys really changed everything. And that's really where you see the flux of teams going to 1,000-yard receivers.
And now it's the championship winners have dynamic playmakers that can go and make a play for you when needed. And it's not a lot of teams, and it's not consistent that you get these big time. But when Alabama's won championships, and they've won a whole bunch of them, you look at the stats, and Devontae Smith with 1,800, almost 1,900 yards receiving, Amari Cooper with almost an 1,800-yard receiving year. They get them. Jamison Williams coming off a transfer over with over 1,500 yards receiving. And then LSU, just reel off the names at receiver that LSU's had over the last 10 years. It's the best receivers in the NFL right now are coming out of LSU and Alabama. And, we need some of that. We're right here in that hotbed, too, where we can pick up receivers. You and I have the good opportunity of seeing one that I think could easily be in this list in the years to come, and Malcolm Simmons. But Auburn needs guys that can go out there and make plays. And when you look at our passing totals, and I know you're about to go over and spotlight this game, that's the one thing that jumps out is our inefficiency throwing the football right now.
For the Auburn fans watching, I had some comments right here. We've had 2,000-yard receivers in the history. Ronnie Daniels in 1999, Terry Beasley back in 1970 with 1,051, and that was a big deal because in 1970 it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and Pat Sullivan won a Heisman Trophy throwing it to Terry Beasley. And, when you see a guy like Vanderbilt in 1967 have a guy go for 1,100 yards, that's a lot bigger deal. That's almost like receiving for 2,000 yards back in those days. But Auburn's had Darvin Adams twice in 9 and 10 go. Darvin Adams was 3 yards shy of a 1,000-yard receiving year, 9 with 997. He had 963 the year Auburn won the national title. Frank Sanders in 94 with Patrick Nix throwing to him had 910 yards. Tyrone Goodson was down. I didn't realize that, 906, and I was there. You were there. I was on the sideline for most of those games in 97. Tyrone Goodson was a great receiver. And then, of course, lately, Sammy Coates had 902 there in that 13 season. So Alabama with 13,000-yard receivers, they lead the SEC overall. Again, we ran off Tennessee and Florida. And I think Florida with 11, Tennessee and LSU both with 10. So that's a little fun fact there on how the game has changed. And really, again, Steve Spurrier did it. I mean, really, you didn't see any of these numbers start to uptick until the early to mid-'90s, and then it's been a lot of guys since then. Let's talk about this Auburn game with Ole Miss today. Basically same song, different verse. It's just 4 games in a row. Auburn's going to have to line up and play a really good football team. And the last three, counting this game, they will have played three of the best offenses in this league. And Ole Miss is no secret. Lane Kiffin, he's going to go fast. He's going to try to get on top of Auburn. He talked about how tough it is to go to Jordan-Hare and play, Randy, and when we come back, we'll talk about it. But, Auburn's got to figure something out offensively.
Well, overall offense, number 11 offense in the country, number 3 offense in the SEC of Ole Miss, and they do it running the football and throwing the football. Quinshon Judkins, if anything, has maybe had a semi-sophomore slump compared to what we saw last year. Does have 443 yards rushing, but only averaging 4.1 yards per carry with 6 touchdowns. Not the numbers that we saw last year, but Jackson Dart, he's real efficient. He's got 12 touchdown passes to only 2 INTs. That's a big stat for Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah.
Can Ole Miss not turn the football over as much as they get pass happy at times? And this is a very good offense for Ole Miss, so it's going to be questionable for Auburn today if we can keep up with them scoring. Now, can our defense hold Ole Miss under 30? Maybe, and may have to with what this offense
if they
right
don't,
now.
they won't win.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to play well on defense. We'll go to break. Patrick says 9, and he's meaning Robbie Ashford. And you and I agree. I think that's our best opportunity moving forward the rest of the year. Again, has no bearing on what the program's going to do after this year, but right now here in the current and the present, and that's not just blaming Peyton Thorne or the wide receiving corps, it's a combination. I think Robbie Ashford gives Auburn the best chance overall. Up against another break, stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. A couple segments left in today's show. You can get your comments in. We were talking about this Auburn-Ole Miss game. We talked about Alabama and Tennessee earlier. And, two big games, for different reasons. Auburn's 0-3. They need a win in conference play to kind of start this trek down an easier part of the schedule. We knew this 4-game stretch was going to be tough for them. On the flip side, Alabama – with that loss to Texas still in the driver's seat in the West rather. It's in there at 4-0, 6-1 overall. You said it, and we've talked about it. This is not what we're used to with an Alabama team from an offensive standpoint because of their lack of execution from times and just not being able to run the football and some deficiencies they have. Of course, they're still really good defensively, but they're having to find creative ways to win games rather than just go out there and skull drag somebody across the field. So it's a different way of winning. And at the end of the day, a win's a win. And they're 6-1. And again, they've got a big game with LSU coming up down the line. But this Tennessee game is looming large today. It keeps them in the driver's seat, Randy, if they win this game.
Well, got it in the right spot.
Yep.
And that's key. And it is very odd to watch Alabama. And I know how much they struggle at times like they did in the second half against Arkansas throwing the football. But I like their running backs. I don't know. Very odd dynamic watching them play. Their running backs are some pieces that I wouldn't mind. It's not that I don't like ours, too.
You talking about Alabama?
Yeah.
Chase McClellan?
I like them. I watch them. I see them, but you get in the game.
They're not what you're used to seeing.
No, and I don't know if that's a lack of physicality up front on the offensive line. I don't keep up with it enough.
They have the biggest offensive line.
Well, they got everybody that got up there. Everybody wanted.
Yeah.
It's just.
They still have the best roster in college football.
It's just a question mark on where the loss of physicality is.
I'm going to say this, and it is what it is. And how important the quarterback position is.
Good point.
When you have mediocre play at quarterback, man, it makes everything around you mediocre. Now, you can take mediocrity around a superstar quarterback and close a massive gap. But when you have great players everywhere and you put a mediocre quarterback out there, and I think Jalen Milroe's probably, based on past quarterbacks at Alabama and what we're used to seeing, would fall in the range of mediocre.
I'll say this, though. I think Alabama's the team aspect and the process and the overall Nick Saban culture that's been built, something's missing there. Something's no longer there because I think they had the best quarterback in the history of their program the last few years. And they couldn't win championships, Brett.
Right.
And they put up big numbers. But they weren't the same football team. They had a lot of close football games over the last 2 or 3 years. It hasn't been that way with maybe the best quarterback of their history. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the transfer portal. Maybe it's NIL. Maybe
I was going to say, do you see this? That was exactly where I was going to go. We won't know for years. But you've started to see a change in college football in the way players act, with what they say. I don't know, and I said this yesterday, and I don't know if you saw this week. Caleb Williams at USC said whoever drafts him, he wants to be gifted part ownership of the franchise, a partial. What are we doing now? I mean, and I don't care. Again, we've all conceded and said, look, you either got to get on board with this or just go find something else to do. I'm past that. But what I don't like is that you have stages and steps and things you do in life, and we've gotten to a point now where you got college football players dictating to owners and GMs of the NFL before they've even been drafted and telling them, hey, this is what I want if you're going to draft me. If not, don't draft me. And Caleb Williams has pretty much already told the Chicago Bears, don't draft me. If you draft me, I'm just going to stay at USC.
We can make more money there.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That right there, in a nutshell, is a problem. It's not a cut against saying I don't think a kid should earn money. I do. I think he ought to earn something. I think he ought to be given something for his talents. I totally totally 100% behind that. But when you get to a point where guys are making decisions to go the next level and they stay in college because they're making more money with the college program they're in rather than – I'm not talking about somebody getting drafted in the 6th round. I'm talking about these are first-round guys, first 4 or 5 pick guys looking over and going, nah, I think I'll just stay.
Well, if Nick Saban – 17 years into his tenure at Alabama? Does that sound right? 16 or 17?
This is his 17th year.
If he can't get this thing going in the right direction, and they're 6-1. They got everything playing out in front of them.
But that's not what you're saying.
But my point is it doesn't feel like it did when the things were, when you were playing Alabama and you go, we don't stand a chance.
No.
This team is just different. The way that they handle themselves different. The way that the players look, the way they communicate, everything's different. I don't think that now about Alabama. Like, I look down at Auburn's schedule the rest of the season. I'm like, if there's a winnable game, it's that Alabama game at Jordan-Hare. I'm way more concerned with some of the others than that because Alabama offensively, we can stay in that ball game. I'm more worried about Ole Miss offensively than I am Alabama coming over to Jordan-Hare. And that's an odd thing to say, but that's what I see with Jalen Milroe back there at quarterback.
Well, the thing that I've noticed about Alabama in the last 2 or 3 games is Nick Saban's disgust with how they're ending games.
Yeah.
They look out of whack. They're trying to run the clock out, and then you got a kid back there at quarterback. The other team doesn't have any timeouts. There's 1 minute and 36 seconds, and you go throw one in the ground. I mean, it's like, and that's when Nick Saban lost it in that game. He's like, what are we doing? Are we trying to lose the game? Last week, Alabama's trying to run the clock out in a false start. It's just like, can we just finish?
Not things you would say.
Just, undisciplined, out of whack, not organized, discombobulated.
Now, do I think Alabama wins at home against Tennessee today? Yes. Probably by 2 scores. But that's more of Alabama having them at home than what I think of Alabama.
How would you feel if they were in Knoxville?
I think I'd favor Tennessee.
Come down to the very end.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is a lot about where you play a lot of these. I mean, look, we talk about Jordan-Hare all the time.
But when Nick Saban had it rolling.
Well, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. He just beat the –
could have played on the moon.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. It's just that's where it's changed. That's where the gap has closed that we've seen. I mean, I think everybody would agree with that. That's a part. I don't know how much NIL and transfer portal has had on that to this point, but we've watched Colorado and what Deion Sanders trying to do to transform that program. Now, again, reality's starting to set in for them a little bit and what they're doing. But, again, he's doing it with what he was able to grab out of the portal, much like what Coach Freeze.
Here's what I love Deion. I begged for Deion. I probably made 150 posts saying he sure would look good in orange and blue, so I don't need to hear anything negative about Deion. But we'll see how good Deion is as a coach when he loses his star.
He is a star.
And his son is a pro. And when your son is as good as his son is playing quarterback, it cleans up a lot of
I can't remember the guy's name on ESPN. But he was talking about it yesterday, and he said, man, let's make no mistake. We like Deion, but you take Shedeur Sanders off this team,
he's good.
And you probably don't have a win.
He is so good.
Well, that's what they're saying. Again, it goes back to what I said. You take a superb quarterback and put mediocre around him, he's going to close the gap. You take a bunch of good players and put a mediocre quarterback out there, you struggle. And, I mean, that's the difference. If you take Shedeur Sanders off Colorado right now, I don't care if you got Travis Hunter or whoever.
It wouldn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. And you're right. That's going to be the true telltale is when he leaves, who does he replace him with, and how does he build that program past that. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug-tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. JR Sports Bar and Grill 25th anniversary today and tomorrow. Go by and get you some great food. 25% off every menu item in there today. What a great organization to be associated with. We're just blessed to be part of it and looking forward to celebrating with them this weekend. Some games on tap here as we close out the show. And I'll run these down, Randy, just get your thoughts. Clemson will go to Miami. Now, Miami's had two tough ones in a row. They blew it against Georgia Tech. They had that game won, and it is one of the biggest blunders that you'll ever see and how they lost that game. Then they had to go on the road and play an undefeated North Carolina team and, played pretty good on the road, but North Carolina with Drake Mays just a little bit too much. They get a 4-2, 2-2 in the conference Clemson team at their place tonight at 7 o'clock. Clemson's a 3.5-point favorite on the road. Does Miami get off the snide?
I think they probably do. It's not a great Clemson team. I've watched, but it'll be a good football game.
It will.
I mean, at a certain point in time, when you're just a fan, you don't care about the ACC. You want to sit there and watch a good ball game. I think that one will be a really good football game. And the next one you're going to bring up, I think this one's very much worth watching if you're an Auburn fan. Oh. Because with my eyes knowing exactly what we've got and the opportunities that we've got coming down the stretches, right, these two teams are the two that I'll point to along with Andy.
Yeah, both of them are winless in the league and trying to figure out something. They got Mississippi State on the road at Fayetteville, not a tough place to play. It's 11 o'clock. It'll be kind of a blah environment. Which team can step up? Mississippi State's got Will Rogers. Arkansas's got K.J. Jefferson. Something's going to have to give. Somebody's going to come out.
Well, neither of these teams will win an SEC play. Both teams on the schedule with Auburn moving down the stretch. Auburn without a win an SEC play, too. I think we're all a lot alike.
They are.
You know, if you were to tell me we lost to both of those teams, I would say I can see it. Or if you tell me we beat both of those teams, I could see it. So it's one of those games just to watch and see how they match up with one another and see if there's any positives we can spin from it for Auburn moving forward.
Boy, Missouri has been the surprise team. I don't think anybody had them 6-1. They're a play or two away from being undefeated and really having LSU completely out of everything and probably should have won the game. But Missouri and what Eli Drinkwitz has done at Missouri, having them in the top 20, South Carolina comes to them today. I think they take care of business. I think Brandon Cook's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. They're favored by a touchdown in this game. I think they win by 2 touchdowns. Spencer Rattler's still putting up great numbers, but this South Carolina team just doesn't. Their roster, much like Auburn's, just not very good.
Well, they don't have the pieces around. At least they've got a quarterback.
They have a quarterback.
He's really good.
The ones around him aren't very good.
No, it's just not a very talented team, and defensively not a good team at all.
No.
And, so South Carolina, there's a lot of subpar teams in the SEC this year.
You know, really, I mean, all of them. Georgia's got its flaws. Alabama's got its flaws. LSU has been exposed already a couple of times, you know, with Florida State and Ole Miss. There's not a dominant team in this league. You know, all the way top. I mean, Vanderbilt, even sitting down there as a bottom dweller in the East, played Georgia tough for 3 quarters.
Man, what a great day of college football.
Yeah, it's some good ones. Utah at USC. USC's undefeated in Pac-12 play. They've got Caleb Williams, it's a 6.5-point favorite. They're favored by 6.5 rather against Utah. But this Utah team's number 14 in the country, and they don't mind going to somebody's house and getting a win.
They beaten USC when they weren't expected to many times before. So, but out of the stretch, out of the rest of these games, you're going to run down probably the one I could care less about. I won't watch any of that Utah-USC. I'm going to be watching the rest of these. All of these other games are really good.
Duke at Florida State.
Good game.
Riley Leonard out in that game still. You know, that's a big deal. I mean, Riley Leonard's a lot of why Duke's where they are. Now, Duke gritted out a win this past week, but it's going to be a tall task for them to go to Florida State, who is just Keon Coleman, who transferred from Michigan State to Florida State, he is just something else. Dynamic playmaker. You know, they could have LaDamian Webb on this team. And think about that. I mean, they're already talented, but LaDamian Webb was at Florida State and then had to leave. Now he's at South Alabama running up and down the field on everybody, went over to Oklahoma State, and they blew their doors off. So this Florida State team, already with a big win over LSU earlier in the season, man, they're on pace to go undefeated. They're 2 touchdown favorites today, and I think they
probably do. And then the next game, Penn State, number 7 against number 3 on the road at Ohio State. That one's this morning. Always fun to watch. I like the way that they set those games up in the morning. They do it better than the SEC. I'll say that. That early morning game.
They have the prime time spot.
But the overall production that they put on to lead into those football games, I wish the SEC did a little bit better job with their 11 o'clock game. It's just not as important. I know we're CBS oriented, and we're always.
And that's going away. The CBS contract's over, so that won't be the case anymore. And the Big Ten is picking that up. You know, CBS will be taking the reins over next year for that. So it's going to be more ESPN heavy for the SEC. That's a massive game, though. James Franklin, you can say what you want to about the guy. He did the best that any of us have seen in our lifetime with Vanderbilt. He gets an opportunity to go to the Big Ten, and they haven't really gotten over the hump up there, but he's always got a top 15, top 20 team at Penn State. He's got great players. They're number 7. I'm going to say this might be the biggest opportunity for James Franklin in his history. To go to the Horseshoe, both teams undefeated, for Big Ten supremacy, to give them the leg up in the Big Ten for a shot to go to the 14 playoff. I mean, tell me a game that he's coached in that's bigger than that.
And also the SEC semi-down.
Right.
I could see a Michigan, Penn State, or Ohio State win the national championship this year very easily.
Yeah.
Maybe Washington too, but there's some teams that I look and think they match up with the SEC better than they have in the past.
Well, I mean, who are the top 3 teams in the Big Ten? Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. Who are the SEC top 3 teams? Georgia, Alabama, LSU.
I don't know that. I don't like
I
any.
may be taking Big Ten in all 3 matchups.
Yeah.
Depending on who you match them up with. I mean, that tells you where you are this year in the parity. Up against the final break of the show. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This fall, nobody beats Martin's Sports Pub for Lake Martin's best sports experience. Martin's all-star lineup of cold beverages and pub fare food can't be beat, with the region's best wings, burgers, and signature dishes. At Martin's, you always have the best seat in the house for all college and NFL on our multiple 360-view TV and huge projection screen with surround sound. See our pigskin scoreboard weekly to win big money and let our all-pro teams serve it all to you at the place we all win. Martin's, Highway 34, Dadeville. Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Sometimes the word tradition is thrown out there too lightly. But when JR's Sports Bar and Grill is celebrating 25 years of Lake Martin's favorite place for wings, chicken fingers, good drink, and good hometown folks, well, you know it's a true celebration. All of October, come celebrate with us for 25 awesome years. Chris and Audra are so thankful for each and every customer that's become part of JR's family. Come all month long, see our remodeling on the inside, and stay tuned for our October celebration event coming soon. JR's, a true 25-year tradition for the Lake Martin area.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment here of the Saturday Sports Countdown. Man, again, recapping last night for all of you locally, big win for Benjamin Russell over Briarwood. Hey, my hat, I tip it to Briarwood. Classy program, great games. Those two games the last 2 years have come down basically to the last drive. That's what high school football is all about. Now, look, it's always easier and it's a lot more fun to talk about it when you're on the winning side. But we've been on the losing side of those two. And, I watched Briarwood's players, come over and hug our guys and saw a bunch of guys on both sides really embrace and appreciate one another and the effort that was laid out on that field last night.
The memories that are made, and you'll never forget them. And I hate it for Briarwood because Briarwood did have, if I put my Briarwood hat on, I've never had it on, but I'm going to put it on right here. They have the snap go over the head, all the momentum in their favor. And, if you remember the 2013 ball game against Georgia and you watch the sideline when that ball was – that's what Briarwood looked like on the opposite side last night. I mean, when they didn't take advantage of getting the football back inside the 5-yard line and cash it in. And
the thing, Randy, had cut you off there, I'm sorry, but as a coach, they'll replay that scenario and what should have been done. Or, you call a play, you only have an opportunity, timeouts, it's 14 seconds. Do I run it? Do I have enough time if I fall down or don't score to get back there and clock it to set up another play? I think they made a great play call. They did. I think they missed the wide open guy on the backside. Thank goodness. The guy that flipped the ball back to the quarterback, he released, and we had nobody go with him. That first drive, they had that backdoor screen. They set up and got down inside, set up their first score. But, Randy, in the middle, all his momentum on the catch is rolling back to the right. He's not thinking about stopping. And we had pursuit. He just made a play. And, but you're thinking back, and players, I should have thrown it out of bounds, lived to play another day. In the moment, it's hard to do that.
It really is. No timeouts left. You don't want to really run it forward. The scary part of me was how great their quarterback was with his legs and how well he ran the football all night long. So just great win, 25-21, moved to 4-1 in the region, have a chance to win a region championship. I hope many come out to the Sportplex here in Ellick City as we'll host Helena this upcoming Friday night. It'll be our first chance for a region title since 2013, and got to get over the hump. That's always something you want to look back on and say, I may have not won a state championship, but when I had opportunities to play for championships, whether it be the area or the region, I got over the hump in those opportunities, and unfortunately we haven't been able to do that in 10 years.
And at the end of the day, and of course we hope we win, but if we don't, you'll have to let the dust settle and see where you fall. But even if you win that game, there's still a lot to be deciphered based on other results. But the only thing you can control is going out winning that game. You got to let the rest take care of itself. And if you win that game, that means you only lost one game in the region. If somebody beats you with a tiebreaker, then so be it. That's just the way it is. So, but this Benjamin Russell team, we knew it was going to be a fun team to call this year going in with all the playmakers. And like Coach Grider said, hopefully they're hitting their stride and playing great football in this area. I know we're biased in this area, but Clay Central, Reeltown, Dayville, Benjamin Russell, all are playing outstanding football right now.
They are. Elmore County's right outside of that, but, Central Clay and Reeltown ain't had close football games. Somebody beat them in 2A and 5A. It's going to be a well of a football team.
Reeltown Friday night will be like a fourth-round playoff game. Highland home, Reeltown, two powerhouses.
Yes, it will.
Came down to a two-point conversion last year. Reeltown rolled the dice, went for it, beat them 8-7. This is going to be a fun one. There's going to be a lot of fun ones we're going to be keeping up with next Friday night with our game. We'll be watching the score tracker all night. We talked about them all in the first.
Hey, Opelika-Dothan, that may not be one for a region title, but that's a massive game.
To get in the playoffs.
Because both teams with a chance to get in, both with good teams. Opelika's not used to this, Brett.
I know it.
I'm telling you, this is
and
a
it's
game.
Unfortunate because Auburn beat them on the last play of the game on a fourth down. They were right there nip and tuck with Phoenix City. They've been close. Randy, a couple plays here or there, and they're sitting at the 2 seed.
Well, some communities you can spin it that way, and you can hope that people see it that way. They don't see it that way.
Oh, I understand that.
They in our lifetime, they've done nothing but win. They haven't won a championship. But, buddy, they have won
the reality
9 to 13 games every year of mine in your life.
But I'm going to tell you what you've told me numerous times. Auburn's not the same Auburn that they used to play. Phoenix City's been good our whole life, but they're on a whole nother level now. All right? Dothan is a fairly still a new program. They're starting to get their sea legs under them. And Enterprise, all the way back to my senior or junior year, your sophomore year, was – right there in the mix. Enterprise has been a dominant team for 30 years. So Opelika, and again, Opelika stayed the course. It's not that their program's dropped off.
Oh, no.
It's the teams around them that have gotten better and up the bar. So, look, I get it. And I know the frustration. We get as frustrated here in this community when we don't win. But, man, I'm telling you, when you look over there and you see what you have to play every single daggum week, it sucks to be on the raw end of it. I know, and they got to figure out how to get over.
They remind me a lot of Auburn.
Yep.
They really do. They remind me a lot of Auburn, where your expectation level far exceeds what your production has pulled off.
Right.
But it doesn't matter how you spend that. They're not used to losing.
They're not used to losing.
They don't like it.
And here's the thing, and again, I know this kind of sounds weird, but they're losing games with a good football team. This is not a team that doesn't have players, doesn't have good coaching. They're out there right there competing with some of the best in the state, and they just got to figure out ways to get over the hump. And that'll be a big opportunity for them on Friday with Dothan. That's going to wrap it up here for the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, thanks to Coach Grider for joining us in the first hour. Thanks to all of you that sent comments in, and we appreciate it. All of you watching and listening every single week. Reminder, JR Sports Bar and Grill, 25th anniversary celebration today and tomorrow. Make sure you go out and celebrate with them. For Andy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next week.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.